Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let's get into this, shall we? David de Gea, shock, sensational U-turn, coming back to Manchester United. Or is he? It's in the Sun. It's also in the Daily Mail. I wonder if they're looking at 1 + 1 = 5. Because I think you look at the recent photograph with De Gea hanging out with some of his former teammates, still lives in the same area, hasn't yet found a club, hasn't moved away. Him going out for lunch with his teammates, is it newsworthy? I mean, it was newsworthy because some so-called people in the news decided to write about it, but is it genuinely newsworthy? I would put money on it. He's been for 10 lunches with them so far this season. And it's the first one that anyone's posted a photo of, so it's the first one that we find out about. That's what I would think. Now, is he going to come back? I don't think it's as sure as these outlets are making out. United signed we signed Bender in the summer. You've also still got Tom Heaton there. You also still got other goalkeepers at the club as well. I don't think this is real, to be honest. But let's read what they're saying. So it says, United are plotting a sensational return for David de Gea. Just 3 months after he was released, with Erik ten Hag wary of Onana's possible Africa Cup of Nations absence. The club are worried they'll be short of keepers when Andre Onana, De Gea's replacement, goes to the African Cup of Nations in the new year. Onana is set to miss as many as 8 games in January, should he elect to join up with Cameroon for the African Cup of Nations. And United are reportedly keen to safe-proof themselves. The Sun claim, that's a sentence doing a lot of work in it, that United are plotting a U-turn to bring him back to the club, particularly given that he remains a free agent since leaving. Should Onana go away with his nation, he will be left with Bender and obviously Tom Heaton, who's had an injury this season. I mean, you lot let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Now, on one hand, if I'm David de Gea, of what benefit is it to me to go back and help United out when they put a contract on the table and then take it away from me last minute? I cannot imagine that does anything for David de Gea as a player. And I can't imagine the relationship with him and Erik ten Hag is a good one. If it was Erik ten Hag that pulled the plug on it so they could sign Onana. Like, I cannot imagine that is a good relationship. I also cannot imagine it's any good for our second and third choice goalkeeper, whichever way round that is. I presume it's Bender is number 2 and Tom Heaton is number 3. Tom Heaton is a Premier League level goalkeeper and he's a fine backup. I haven't seen anything of Bender to be able to comment, so it's just one of those. I don't think it's going to happen. It could, I just don't think it will. It's not completely out of the realms of possibility. He's still in the area. I think if someone at the club offers it him, he might take it because it'll probably be, a 6-month contract, I would imagine, from January to the end of the season. And he's not doing anything currently. I don't know. It just seems a bit of a strange one to me. It was like, it's the Sun, isn't it? There's not a single source. There's not a single quote. There's not a single person that is the club or the player putting their names to this. It's just absolutely wild speculation. That's all it is. 2 + 2 = 22. No, you're looking at it wrong. So I mean, it could happen, and I guess that's what they've hung their hat on. Is they're like, well, I don't fucking know if it's going to happen or not. So let's just fucking say it is. That's what it smells like to me, and that's the way it is with the Sun. But yeah, it's disrespectful to everyone involved, and I just can't believe that even Manchester United would do that. Andrew says, Custis says we would have Qatar owners this month. Gino says we need to buy a player like Roy Keane. Where did he make them? Dutch Cry says more Sun media BS. Daniel says it's lazy to create that story because he's in town and maybe Onana might play for go to the AFCON. Makes no sense for either to do it. If he retired and they talked him into playing to help, sure. Don't get it. Do not get it. Fire-In says apparently Garnacho mistakenly added a gorilla emote to his post of the Onana save and he's deleted, but the FA are going to take action which could lead to a 3-match ban. Is that real? Knight says, what's the point of buying the same Custis fellow who said Qatar was done weeks ago? I've seen some reports this morning talking up that Qatar are coming, but I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with Qatar. I am not in the know in this in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. I have no idea. There's been leaks and stuff come out, but does that mean there's anything in it or not? I really don't know. I really, really don't know. It's going to be a interesting one, whichever way it pans out. It looks like Sir Jim has managed to get it over the line, but has it? We don't know, do we? John says, since when has the Sun been a reliable outlet? Excellent point, well made. Mike says, I hope you're well. Defo taking the De Gea news with a truckload of salt. It's probably the correct thing to do, my friend. Because I think that's what it needs to be taken with. Life O'Reilly says, BS about the emoji. I know plenty of lads who use the gorilla emoji. NRB says, what do I think when we get our injuries back? Still shit or no? I don't think so, I think we'll be okay once we get people back. Yeah, I do. I think we'll be okay when we get people back. Have I heard anything about Chelsea buying De Gea? Well, they don't have to buy him. They just have to give him a contract. And I know I haven't heard anything about Chelsea signing him. It wouldn't surprise me, though. I mean, I can't rule out a single transfer rumour when it comes to Chelsea because I think there's just an absolute guarantee that there's someone at Chelsea thinking about it, whether it makes sense or not, because that's just the way Chelsea are, isn't it? Why does Ten Hag insist on a team that can press without using fullbacks in it? Because you don't necessarily... What does that mean? Do you think you need to have your fullbacks pressing? I don't understand what you're talking about. Daniel says, really missing Lissandro and Shaw. We are. Afri says, I'm worried about Rashford's body language on the pitch. Ian says, is our press good? Yeah, actually. I think statistically we're the first or second in the league for a press. So, yeah, I'd have to say it's pretty good. Jaron says, don't understand our build-up play. Everyone tries to get forward and nobody wants to come for the ball. That I agree with. Someone messaged me on Instagram the other day or last night and said, have we stopped playing out since Lissandro's been out of the team? It feels like we're going a bit longer. I haven't had a chance to look into the data on it yet, but it does feel like that, I agree. It does feel like we're no longer trying to play out the way that I think we wanted to play out, and certainly we were trying to play out at the start of the season. And on tour, that's changed. So has that changed because it's Maguire in the team? Has that changed on orders, or is a player just doing what he wants there? I don't know about that. Darren says, can't see Dave coming back the way he was let go. Seems like a series of bad vibe stories around the team, which must be affecting morale. You got to also think that there's a good chance this story is completely fucking made up in someone's head. Notch says, according to some, Maguire is better than Lisandro Martinez now. Yeah, I agree. I saw that on Twitter this morning. Someone had said Martinez wasn't needed and isn't an upgrade on Maguire. And you're like, I don't know if I'm articulate enough to actually explain how wrong you are on this. Afri says, why is Onana going long more? He's always kind of gone long, but it's one of those. Rob says, I've heard De Gea's in town to sign for Paddock. It could happen. It fucking could happen. He's not got a club. There's other, certainly not De Gea's level. There's other players that we're talking to that are ex-Prem and ex-Pro. I don't think he would. I haven't got a contact straight through to him, but, I absolutely would. James says, Onana wants to go longer. Is that down to players or confidence? It feels to me like we've changed how we're playing out at the moment. Ash says, we're not too convincing up front. Lack of confidence and communication really evident. Why players aren't providing service and the goals have dried up. They have. Ricardo says, will Baindir ever play? What do I know about his ball distribution and saving ability compared to Onana? We don't know anything about him. I mean, he looked good last season, but apart from that, don't know. Do I see a smash and grab coming for us this weekend? No, because I haven't seen it under Ten Hag yet, and I'm very worried. Harry says Ten Hag literally bought 2 goalkeepers. Why would he not back his second option that he chose? Good point. Garnacho or Rashford for Sunday? I'd go Rashford. He has a habit of turning up in these really big games. Ahmed says Onana sits way too deep when we have possession. It's really weird. That's the interesting thing in it, is that in pre-season he was marshalling outside his box and it was great, and then it's almost like he got a little bit burnt and has sunk back into his box a little bit. I hope he gets confident and comes back outside the box again. Brian says, I think we take a draw this weekend, but who can realistically see it happening? Yeah, I'm worried. Genuinely, I am. There's no two ways around it. I think we're going to really struggle this weekend. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. My thoughts on this De Gea stuff is it's probably a load of old rhubarb, especially considering the source. So I don't think that's going to happen. But check it easy, everyone. I will be back later with Ronaldo. If you want to get on Twitter, tweet me what you want to hear me and Ronaldo discussing a little bit later on. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.